And we're live.
We're live.
Welcome, everybody, to Reformed Podcast. Here we are.
We're excited to be here.
Yes, we are. And you're going to be able to see the live reactions of everything because this is the first time that we've done this. And because of that, we're going to be rolling through a lot of kinks and a lot of probably trials in the very beginning. But you know what? We're bringing the heat and the excitement and the enthusiasm. I think that's what this means more anyway.
Yeah, we have to have the enthusiasm. I'm ready to do this.
I am ready to do this. But for everyone who's just here, you're probably here because you either know me or Emily. But of course, if somebody stumbles upon this podcast that has no idea what we do or who we are or what we're even about, I think that's what the general flow of this kind of initial meeting is going to go about. Like, I want people to know us. I want them to know what we do. And we'll see if they want to stick around.
No voice.
Well, I mean, that's why we're doing this.
Okay, why you introduce yourself?
Okay, well, that's perfect. So I am Chase Watford. I am one of the owners of Team Reform Coaching, along with my business partner, Alex Toplin. And we are a lifestyle and competition prep physique enhancement company. So I've been coaching for 6-7 years at this point. And I used to be a 9-to-5, probably like a lot of people around here. I worked for the Department of Defense, managing combat weapon systems for the Army. It sounds so much sexier than it was. I hated it. And fell in love with fitness and fell in love with like competing and making other people better, and got so much fulfillment out of that. So I decided to quit that job, all the benefits and the 401ks and stuff, and rolled into the lifestyle of an entrepreneur, and honestly have not looked back since. I've loved every second of it.
I think that one thing that he's not mentioning is he started out as an actual client. Chase
Sure.
started out as a client, and like he was saying, fell in love with the whole experience, and then just took it by the horns and ran with it, and now is part owner and making an impact on a lot of people's lives. So it's exciting stuff.
And that's the cool part of it, that yes, I started as a client. Actually, Alex, my business partner, was my coach whenever I started this. And at that point, our relationship started to grow, and then we just continued to want it to impact people and to build something. And we decided to do that together. But the coolest thing is that Emily is also in a pretty similar boat, because you started as a client and now you're
I'm a
coaching
coach.
Reform.
Yeah, exactly. So it's been cool to kind of follow in your footsteps in a way and just find that same love and that same passion for helping people and the impact that you can make, and just how far of a reach that really has when you help people find their capabilities and their power and everything. And so now to be able to do that as part of Team Reform, not just as a client, but now as a coach, it means a lot to me. So I'll intro myself now.
I would like to hear it.
My name is Emily Nelson. I'm a national level bikini athlete and a coach in Team Reform. I joined Team Reform a couple of months back, and just been an amazing experience. Previously, I was solely just a client with the team, also coached by Alex. When I was ready to kind of get back into bodybuilding and dive deeper into fitness again. I've always been a personal trainer in the past. We taught group exercise classes, so athlete my whole life, always been very active. I think there's always been a part of me that has always wanted to make a positive impact for people. I've always wanted to be a leader on my team and just to help open people up to what they're truly capable of. And so I feel like I've found that here with Reform. So I'm excited to be able to keep doing this podcast and share more and more with people. And just aside from just our clients, that have even a bigger reach with people in the fitness industry and where that takes us. It's gonna be fun.
I love that. And I'm really pumped about this, because I think this is the first time that we have an outlet outside of just our clientele, because what I think we both kind of mentioned here, and also my business partner, Alex Toplin, he's another owner of Reform, but then also we have another female coach, Taylor Saylor, who just got her pro card at Nationals this past weekend. But kind of a factor with all of us is we all started coaching for a particular reason. Like, we wanted to be able to help people. We loved fitness, and we're continuing to get a lot out of that. But all of us, honestly, we've really just been able to impact our clients as a whole. Like, that's where all of our brain power goes. That's where all of our knowledge goes. And now we're able to use a system like this to be able to kind of outsource that. Like, we want people to know who we are, what we do, And at the end of the day, like if we're able to positively impact you guys by our own experience or whatever kind of comes along with this, then we've done our job.
100%. No, I totally agree. So yeah, we have a total of 4 coaches on Team Reform. Alex is the like founder basically of the team. And then he's a IFBB pro in men's physique. And then we have Taylor Saylor, who is a recently turned pro in the figure division. So congrats to Taylor. And then obviously Chase and myself. So we're 4 persons,
40.
4 deep, 4 deep. Um, so Team Reform, when did Alex start Team Reform?
So I was actually a part of Alex Toplin fitness coaching before reform was even a thing. Yeah. So this was, I still have the t-shirt. Actually, the first show that I ever did was a summer shredding classic back in 2020. And that was like, we had these summer shredding shirts with the pumpkin on it. Of course, Alex is still the same Alex. So he had his own custom t-shirts made for everybody that showed up. And I was like one of the first guys to step on stage under Alex as a coach for competitions. So with that, like as soon as we had our consultation call, it was the longest consultation call I think I'd ever been a part of. Like we just hit it off instantly. And then I became a team leader shortly after. And then of course came a coach after that. But yeah, so he started Reform when it became its first general concept was around the winter of 2020, I believe.
Okay, so we have a good 4 years.
Actually, I'm wrong. 2021. It's 3 years. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot that's happened just in those 3 years. Like the evolution of this team has just exploded, and the impact of like the athletes, how they've grown, and like the caliber of the athlete that has come onto the team and what you guys have been able to do with these athletes has been huge. And so something that we do with Reform is we work on the prep side, so bodybuilding and competition shows. We also do lifestyle and just overall transformations in people's physiques. And within the bodybuilding side, there's just been a huge amount of accomplishments across the board. So like not just within the amateur level, now even getting into the pro level of athletes being turned pro within this team. So it's been really cool to see the impact.
We keep saying it every single year, like from the year that it was founded to the next year, it completely blew our minds. And then the following year was even bigger and we continued to grow. And it all came from a place where we invested pretty much every single bit of time and energy and sweat and effort into making this team what it is. And I think that's why we've had a little bit more success over the short term in the very beginning than maybe what is normal, because it truly came from a place of if we knew that we wanted to give our clients everything that we possibly had, if we knew that value was always going to be at the forefront of our mind, that we weren't going to cut corners, it really translated into, from the outside looking in, everybody understanding like this is something that could be really powerful. So I can attribute that. So if you're starting a business or you're a coach or anything, if you focus on the results and you focus on the value, the growth really honestly takes care of itself.
Yeah, no, I feel I couldn't like echo that sentiment more. Is whenever I've approached anything, it's like if it comes from the heart, if I know whatever I'm doing is to positively impact something, everything else comes back to you. Like it just comes full circle. And so if you're leading with your heart just to do anything positive for the people that you're working with, it's going to come back tenfold. So that's been really like something I've valued a lot with being on Team Reform, because you can see consistently that there is the investment in the person, not just their goals as like from a physique standpoint or a physical standpoint. Like you're invested in that actual person. And like Alex says it a lot, it's more than just the X's and O's of helping you get to from point A to point B. It's all the things outside of that path that we're also helping you achieve as well. And so that's the mental, the piece of it, which is so huge when anybody's trying to change habits and put new habits in place and have a whole new foundation of discipline. And so that's really what we are here to help you achieve.
Yeah. And we say so many different, I guess, phrases or lines or something like, we're going to hold you to the highest standard. We want you to be the best version of yourself, XYZ, right? Fill in the blank. Because, and something that I usually like to say is that the coaches on Reform are dogs. We are here because we have obviously done something to get us to this position. And I promise you, nobody is going to come onto this team and work harder than the coaches do. Whether that's inside of the gym, outside of the gym, inside of the kitchen, outside of the kitchen, whatever that is, we want to be able to lead by that example and to be able to provide value through our own experiences and our own knowledge. And at the end of the day, we want you to feel like you're trying to keep up with us.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that couldn't be more true because just because it's more recent for me coming on as a coach and I've been a client for a majority of my time with Reform, that is something that I've always looked up to as like a client looking to the coaches. Is like I know that I don't need to make excuses because they're showing that it's possible. And so sometimes, and I've said this before, like sometimes it just takes one person kind of seeing your capabilities in you and to show you that it's possible. And so you have all the coaches doing that on a daily basis that you can look to them and be like, okay, they're doing this, they're handling XYZ. I know I can do it. I just need to put one foot in front of the other. And that's something that we really hold ourselves to a standard to for, as well as leading by example and being that standard for you so that you can try to surpass it, because that's what we want. We want you to always try to get past that bar that's set and do more.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, I think that every coach should kind of have that own standard for their own life. If you're coaching people to be their best self and you're telling them to do something, of course, that is challenging, that is difficult, that you know that is going to bring them some sort of like challenge within their life, you better be up for the challenge yourself at these.
Yeah, yeah. And that doesn't mean that like we never falter. Like at all. It means that we're going to show you that like if we do falter, we're still going to get back up and keep moving forward, and we're not going to let that be what like sets us back and then we just give up. We're always going to showcase like what it means to, if we stumble, we continue moving forward and we build off of it, as opposed to thinking that we're all perfect and we always hit the standard and we're always toeing the line and we never, have the hiccups, because everybody does.
Yeah, and that's why I'm so big on like practical application, not just application, because what I'm starting to explain a lot to my clients is that I coach based on you in the real world, because there are coaches out there who are perfect world coaches where the only way that they're able to generate information and tell you what to do is based on how everything is supposed to line up within the world that is perfect. But the world is so imperfect. Like we have different timelines and we have different obligations and people have different struggles within their life. So you have to coach around the situations, not into the perfect situation.
Yeah, no, every client is going to have a different life, different stressors. Obviously there's commonalities, but at the end of the day, everybody's so unique. Just like we always say, like everybody's physique is their own and everything has to be tailored to who they are and what their body will tell us. We have to do the same thing with their lives. And so we may push you to try to not let those things impede you, but at the same time, we know that we have to build a program that is going to be helpful for you in your everyday life so that it is sustainable. Because ultimately, if we are changing our habits and changing this foundation of discipline, you're going to have to find ways to make it all work. And that's what we're here to help you do, is to build upon that and transform your discipline and your habit. You want where you want the life going, basically.
Of course, because there's always, everybody has their own optimal is, kind of the gist of things, because everybody has their own life that they have to navigate around. But I think the biggest thing is understanding that it is a coach's job to make your situations, quote unquote, the easiest as possible. We want there to be the least amount of friction for you to get from point A to point B so you can at least reach your goal. But at the same time, understanding that you are still going to be uncomfortable and it's still going to be challenging. There's nobody in the world or no thing in the world that is going to create something that obviously is hard to achieve. Nobody's going to make that necessarily the easiest way possible. You're going to get uncomfortable. You're going to feel some sort of friction.
Yeah, it's some type of adversity when you're going through it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, it's our goal to create the least amount of friction, I think, at the end.
Yeah, and give you the tools to navigate through those things. Like we've had these conversations before that I'm always excited whenever the first roadblock's going to come up. I'm always just waiting when I bring on a new client. I'm like, what is going to be the new issue that I get to help them break through? Because at first, everyone always thinks it's the diet and it's the training and getting that routine down. And that is to an extent in the beginning. But after that, that just becomes kind of like cruise control. And then it's the real mental battle of social situations and juggling it all and making it all work. And I'm always just waiting for that new obstacle. So I'm like, okay, now let's find the tools. Now let's actually get to work here and help you get past these previous like mental constructs that you have of why you couldn't do XYZ and show you that you actually can.
And that's why we always say we want to get you out of your own head and we want to really create the best version of you possible because a lot of the people, they don't even know like what they're about to unlock. Because if you haven't hired a coach before and you're coming into this and you basically are saying, oh, I'm going to learn how to eat and I'm going to learn how to train and then I'm going to look amazing. And yes, you will, but there are so many like granular details in there that you're going to start to learn about yourself that you didn't even know was kind of capable. You're going to understand resilience and discipline and how to navigate certain stressful situations. And because of that, like people truly leave and continue to just succeed within the world. I've seen people change careers because of this and just create this level of drive and kind of self-worth about their self that ultimately creates such a positive impact in their life. And that's what I love. I think with coaching more than anything, the physique transformations are awesome, right? They're great for marketing, by the way. But at the same time, it's like if your life is better because of this, that's where my happiness comes from.
Yeah, that's the thing. I always love sharing the transformations that somebody's gone through because it does showcase like they put in so much work to get to that point. They put in so much work to transform their body from a physical standpoint. But I wish there was something to show also like the mental change of that individual because that is something that is so much more profound. And I wish there was like, aside from like them being able to say, this has been my mental change. I wish there was just something in those transformation pictures that I could just tangibly show. That is like so much more impactful and meaningful to be able to know like, okay, this person now feels so powerful and capable and the self-worth is there. And like the fastest way to build confidence in yourself is to follow through on the things you say you want to do. And to see that kind of flourish in somebody is extremely rewarding. So those transformations are just, they mean everything.
Do you, and I'm going to put you on the spot here. Do you have an objection from new clients that you truly like, you love to be able to say, we're about to break this barrier?
Like when we're first coming on or when the game
So
started.
if you have a new client and there's going to be some similarities and kind of common things that they have to kind of battle and go through in the very beginning, whether that's an objection of, oh my gosh, this is way too much food, or, oh my gosh, like, is the scale going to go up, or whatever that is, like a certain objection that you're like, oh, I like being able to get people out of their own heads because of
Yeah,
this.
no, absolutely. I think when we first get started, it's typically the time management one. I love getting the time management one. I'm habitually a type of person that loves like scheduling out my life, making sure I'm organized because like if you fail to plan, you plan to fail kind of thing. And a lot of times we feel like we're kind of in the passenger seat when it comes to time and when it comes to how our day is taking off, especially when you have whether it's a demanding job or you have family or all of the above. And so my favorite objection is getting that like issue with trying to fit in meals, trying to fit in training. And that's where I like to really come to it and be like, hey, well, let's break down your time. Let's break down what's your schedule like. Where do we have downtime? Because I know there's pockets of time and I know there's ways to prioritize how we can make things get done. Sometimes it's just doing a little bit extra legwork in the front half so that the rest of your week is easier, the rest of the day is easier. So I really love hearing that because I'm like, let's get down to it because I'm going to find all the pockets of time that I swear you have.
Because a lot of the times, like, it's somebody's own personal limiting beliefs that are holding them back. It's not necessarily that they can't do something. It's just they don't know the best way to go about that yet. It's for us to be able to harness that and to bring it out and show them like, this is actually something that you can do. We're not making the excuses, or we're going to figure out exactly what makes the most sense here.
100%. Because I think like the second part to this too is we kind of get a narrative stuck in our head of how we feel about something or what we think is the reality of something. And when we get to take a step back and realize that you actually decide that narrative in your head, you decide what you tell yourself day in and day out. And so if once you realize that and you realize you also can change that narrative, it just takes a little bit of intentional effort to make sure we're catching ourselves and changing that narrative, you have the power to change your whole perception and then how you move like throughout your whole life. So it's way more powerful than you think, way more powerful. So those are like the main barriers. I love breaking through those ones.
That's solid.
Give it to your own.
Yeah, of course. I'm not going to ask the question and come up empty-handed. Um, I usually my objections start to come in with the first like 2 to 4 weeks because people really start to understand, like they know that they're going to come in and have to like cook their meals, right? They know they're going to the gym and train, right? But there is a layer of that kind of aha moment for most people, especially lifestyle clients who are coming in for the first little bit where they really have to see, oh my gosh, this is actually going to take a lot of mental, physical, emotional kind of embracing to be able to achieve the result that we want. And I think that's a big thing that I like to teach people is that anything that you're going to do that is worth having is going to be hard, but you are capable of so much. Like, I feel like a lot of people shy away from challenge. That's what I want people to run towards because it truly makes you like such a hard person, and it creates this level of self-worth and self-empowerment, and it demands respect. So if people can kind of get into this whole situational awareness that they really can achieve anything if they obviously put their mind to it, and they just they run towards something that they know that they want. Because the food situation, they're like, man, we got to meal prep so much and it takes so much time. Awesome. That's good. Like, it's going to teach you so much as well. Oh man, we got to go into the gym and we got to work out that hard. Absolutely. And one key factor that I really like to explain to people is something called the STRED principle. And it is specific adaptations to imposed demands. You have to create a new demand every single day for your body, your mind, your soul, your spirit to adapt and to change to that. But you have to put it under a significant amount of stress to create that adaptation. And when people start to realize that, they're like, man, I really have to put myself under a lot of stress in order for me to trigger this change that I want within my life, because that is not going to come easy. Nobody changes because something was easy to obtain. You have to create something that is difficult.
Yeah, it's getting uncomfortable, like
without a doubt.
Like to put it in layman's terms, I feel like you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable and pushing yourself outside of what you normally would do. And at first, like that idea of pushing yourself and doing something new at first is like really exciting. And like the first couple of weeks of like, yeah, I'm doing this. And then that fizzles off and you're like, wow, this is actually really hard. And now I kind of have to sit with myself in this discomfort and not shy away from it. And that's, I get what you're saying, like not run away from it, but to head towards it and lean into it and lean into the uncomfortability of whatever it is that you're trying to adjust, because then you open up so much more. You get to like see this whole other side of what is available to you on the other side of that comfort level.
Yeah, and it's just humanistic. It's human nature to seek things that are comfortable. Our bodies are honestly designed for that. Like it tries to make, yeah, it's survival. Like if we try to lose body fat, there's a reason why our metabolism adapts. It's because your body's like, I want to keep you alive. I want to make things as comfortable as possible for you. Like we search for that kind of stuff. The people who learn how to operate outside of that realm are usually the most successful, whether that's within a physique transformation or business or entrepreneurship or whatever. The ones who really lean into doing the things that make you uncomfortable are always going to be more successful than the ones who try to shy away with what makes them feel good.
Yeah, 100%. So like your body looks for that physically, but then even mentally, like you'll see like, why do we keep choosing the same outcome over and over? Like, why do we keep choosing? We know that we shouldn't be in this behavior, but we still choose it. And it's because your brain will a lot of times think whatever the unknown is dangerous and it's a risk to our survival. And so as soon as we like let that part go and know that, okay, whenever I'm up against this mental barrier and like I keep going back to old habits, it's not because you're not capable of breaking those old habits. It's because for whatever reason, your mind thinks that this unknown step is danger, and you have to remind yourself that it's not. It's going to open up your world and it's going to flourish wherever you go next. But yeah, the unknown piece of it really sets people back if we don't kind of approach it head on.
It's a barrier. It absolutely is. So, Emily, I want to ask you, 2025 is rapidly approaching, like very quickly. Do you have any particular goals inside, outside of coaching, just that you want to make this year something special?
Yeah, I think for on my coaching side, since I just recently relocated to Tampa, Florida. All of our coaches are over here in Florida, and so I was the last one to kind of arrive. So there's a big push for just being as involved as I possibly can in person with all the coaches and to build off of each other and feed off of each other because your environment means so much. Like the people you surround yourself with are so important. And so that was a big goal is to be with you guys and to continue to build what we're doing. But aside from that, like one of the aspects about team reform is our community aspect and bringing clients together and just adding more value aside from just the coaching piece. And so I definitely have goals to bring my clients together, whether it's out here or to another location, wherever they're like centrally located. And I want to do some client retreats just to add some value and provide them with resources and just also the community piece of bringing them all together. So that's a big push for me. I also do posing coaching for the bikini category. Last year, I did a posing seminar with summer shredding, and which is a bodybuilding competition. And so I want to at least do a handful of those next year as well, because that was like one of the most rewarding experiences I've ever gone through was being able to help women before getting on stage just feel so confident. So I definitely want to have those outlined. What other goals do I have outside of coaching? I'm like 99% sure I'm just staying in my off season this whole year. And all of that is just about like growth and getting myself physically and mentally prepared for doing another national run circuit so I can achieve my pro card in the following season. So that's a big goal.
And we're back. The glories of doing things live.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they said they were going to work through kinks with us. So
Yeah, I'm glad we're doing it now. But goals for goals of 2025. Did you hit your key points that you wanted to?
I feel like I did. What are your goals?
Oh man, I feel like my brain, honestly, just it doesn't stop. Like there's just so many goals. Immediate goals. Team Reform is about to launch their first 90-day transformation challenge. Is something that we've been working in the background for. It seems like months and months and months, since the beginning of, or like middle of 2024. But to actually be able to offer something like this, that's less out or just more outside of the realm of individual one-on-one coaching, and then now being able to bring a community together for everybody to try to just get better as a group, I think is going to be so much fun because we've already done a lot of the legwork of getting them custom training plans and nutrition plans and anything under the sun of how they are going to create an actual transformation for themselves. Of course, with the new year, new me cycle starting to come in the new year, us being able to offer something that can create a lot of change within that is something that I'm so excited about. So offering things like that, like the transformation challenge, and then we have training plans coming out that you can sign up and get on an app. And like the reform has so many things I think that is going to impact the masses this year and not just on a individual one-on-one level. And it creates so much more like it's just so much more tangible for more people. So I think that's super cool. But then of course, each and every year with competitors always gets me really excited because you get to put the people on stage that you have been working in an off season with for forever. Like this past year, I had a great group of people that some had been taken off from the stage from sometimes 2 years. And then to see them and how much progress they have and see them continue to get better places and continue to elevate within the sport is so cool. And this year is even, I think even, greater of an opportunity. We have a lot of my people who have been working tirelessly to go and to search for that pro card. So it's like just competition wise and client wise, there's so many goals that we're going to be able to attack in this year. And then business wise, that's just continue to elevate. We were talking earlier in the podcast about how much this team just continues to grow on a yearly basis. And like this year is going to be something that I mean, we're unlocking doors that we probably don't even know are closed at this point. So that 2025 is going to be a really fun year for us.
Yeah, it's exciting. And to think that like we're all in the same area too. Like not only are we've kind of always done this, like you guys as coaches before me joining has been remotely, everyone in different areas. Like Taylor was in Michigan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt moved from Michigan.
Yeah, from Michigan. And then Alex was obviously down here. You guys moved from Alabama, right?
Moved from Huntsville, Alabama.
Alabama. And then me from California. So like so much of this has been, that's the beauty of where things are at now, is you can do so much online and remotely. But there is something to be said about the power of being in person with your people that you all are on the same like mental vibe with and energy with. So I am just so excited to see what's going to happen with us all just feeding off of each other and just being in the same area. Taylor's coming out of prep. You're not prepping for a show. I'm not prepping for a show. Alex isn't prepping for a show. The brain power.
Which has honestly never been done before. Since the origin of reform, we've never been in a situation where all of us have not been either in prep or gearing to start a prep.
Yeah. Like brain cells are going to be firing full capacity.
If we have any left, they're all going to be working.
I cannot wait. It's going to be so great. So yeah, no, I'm excited for that. And especially with like the things that you kind of talked about, like we've always been so invested in our clients and the one-on-one piece of it, which that will never change. But now having the opportunity to branch out and to share even more, like this podcast isn't just for our clients, it's for the masses. Like the transformation challenge isn't just for our clients, it's for the mass of people. And so like we all know that we just have that drive to want to like bring positivity. So now that we have all these new outlets that are going to reach all those people, like this year is just going to explode.
Yeah, and something else that we were talking about were kind of like those barriers that people have to get over, because so many people out there like that are outside of the world of competition bodybuilding, they're just lifestyle clients, people that want to make a change and they want to look good and feel good and have energy and then go to the pool and feel very confident in the body that they're kind of walking around in. Like there's so many limiting beliefs that people have to, that really they've just kind of tied themselves to, and they don't know that even hiring a coach is a viable option for them. They're just like, oh, well, I'll eat less and oh, I'll try to go for 3-mile runs a day. And then they fizzle out and they burn out and then it never seems to happen. Right. So us being able to at least provide something at a very low cost ticket that's going to get their foot through the door, I think is going to open their mind up to a lot of possibilities that they might not be able to achieve. And one thing that I wholeheartedly believe in this world is that if you take care of your physical body and you can prove to the world that you hold yourself to a higher standard, there is a massive level of respect that comes along with that. Like if you can show this very capable and just capable body,
Right.
like
You take care of yourself.
you take care of yourself, right? You walk into a room and it demands respect. Like I want everybody to be able to feel that, because I think a lot of us, even me and Emily included, have been in a position where we're not comfortable in our body and we don't feel good in our skin. But then we've also been on the latter side of that. And it's been such a positive impact in our lives to be able to offer something that's going to create those transformations and get people into a world where they know that they can do this, is probably one of the most exciting things. So
Plus, there's like the sustainability aspect of it too, where it's like we don't drive clients into the ground. We're not after just to help you have like this crazy drop on the scale. What I feel like a lot of people run into issues with is if when they're doing it on their own, they do these crash diets and this yo-yo thing and they gain back everything that they take off and all that. And so when we're going to be able to actually offer more education on this process and a guided process, even if it's just through the transformation, where you're going to be able to make those transformations and those changes and then sustain them after that. And then you're not just going back and forth, because not only do you understand not only did you achieve the physique you want, but you also understand like the how. And now you can carry that with you further, aside from just like doing these crazy crash Hollywood diets, all that.
yeah,
stuff.
and I have a pitch on my consultation calls that I tell all lifestyle clients, because at the end of the day, it makes a whole lot more sense for me not to give you the information that you need for you to be able to do this by yourself. However, that only is helping me. That's probably not helping you. And that means you're going to have a coach forever to have the body that you want. Like my goal for a lifestyle client, because there's millions of people in this world, I want to be able to impact and help as many people as possible. So I want you to come on. I want to give you the knowledge. I want to create the transformation, but I also want to teach you how to do this so that whenever you're like, coach, you've done your job. I appreciate you. I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to be like, that's awesome. I feel like I've done my job enough so you can take all of this that you've learned and now apply it within your own life. And then you can live this long, happy longevity life that's just full of all the positive benefits that you want.
Yeah. And then think about how that carries on with the rest. Like, say you learn how to eat properly, how to work out properly, how to be healthy, and how to feel your absolute best and confident, all those things. Once you've learned that and you kind of graduated out of this and you're like, hey, I'm ready to do it on my own, think of all the other people now that you impact doing that, whether it's just like the close circle of your friends, or if you're a parent, how you're going to lead that for your children and for your family, for your parents, things like that. Like the reach, it's just such a ripple effect into how that is going to impact the people around you. So it doesn't just become about you and how you've been able to lead through life, but now how you're going to be able to impact the other people in your family. Because once you feel that good, you feel that healthy, you feel that strong, I can guarantee the first thing you want to do is just to tell all the people in your life how to do that too, because you want all of them to feel as good as you feel. And so you're going to have so much impact as well, aside from just like how you feel yourself, but how you're going to make other people feel.
Yeah, and that's something that's so cool about this is that fitness and health and longevity and all of these different things that surround making a positive impact to your body, inside and out, is always something that you can pay forward. Like you can impact so many people because of it. And the testimonies that we get from clients probably means the most to us, because if we give them the information that creates that kind of aha moment within their life, and then they're saying, I'm taking what you taught me, and my wife or my mom has always been pre-diabetic, and now I'm teaching her these things, and now she's healthy and she's 10 pounds down, and we're like, my gosh, it's why it's the coolest job in the world.
So happy that no, it's that saying. It's like rising tides, they raise all ships. Like that's what we're after. Like let's all just like raise everybody up. Let's make the positive impact, because it has a far reach.
Heck yeah.
Okay, so we know what we want for 2025. What else? What are some other things that we have going on? Like we always like summer shred, like bodybuilding wise, we do a lot of stuff for our team events. And so those are always, summer shredding is a bodybuilding league, and we've always been, it's been a staple team show for us, which has been great because we always want to bring our clients together and build that community up and everything. So those dates were announced going into this year.
Yeah, and summer shorting has always been so cool because it's created kind of an entry level exam for a lot of people, and it's a great place to come together and to have this community based type of environment, which is sometimes very different from the NPC realm. You have people that are just wanting to get into this and just want to prove that they are going to do something challenging and hold themselves to a certain standard. And summer shooting is amazing for that. I mean, it's the only place that has a transformation challenge where the goal isn't to be 0% body fat and shredded, is to show that you have taken control over your own life and you've created something extremely positive. Bring that outcome. And also another thing that we could probably talk about is now the brand new division that they're having within the MPC that is completely different than something that we have ever seen before. Like, what are your thoughts on the new, like, whatever fit division?
Fit model
division.
Fit model division, MPC. So I think it has a lot of, overall, I'm excited about it because it's my favorite thing about like bodybuilding and the fitness industry is most of the time it's very welcoming, positive people that all really want to uplift each other. We've all gone through whatever we've gone through, and fitness has helped us in some type of way. And so to have more divisions available for individuals just creates more opportunity for you to showcase yourself, what you want to do. There's a place for you, basically. So as they open up those divisions, I just feel like it becomes more inclusive based on these groups of people who feel like not represented, basically. And so over time, like in any division, there's going to be evolution. These divisions are going to grow and they continue to change and evolve year over year. And so over the course of since like 2011 is when bikini started. I think it was like 2011 or something like that. So it's been like over 10 years that this division has been around. And so it's going to evolve over time and the standard is going to continue to change. And there's been a lot of muscle that's been like looked for now in that division. And unfortunately, I think there's a group of people that just don't feel like they align with that category anymore. And bikini is supposed to be the entry level division for bodybuilding. And over time, it's become a physique that in order to be successful in it, you have to have years and years of training behind you to then get to elevate into these higher levels of nationals or like pro levels. So the fit model division, it's exciting because it's going to open up more for entry level individuals and that don't want to have that amount of muscle. They don't want to be level of machine. They still want to have some type of representation. They still want to compete. They still want to train and have the physique that they want, that maybe they can align in with the other divisions because of how the muscularity or the heavy. So it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. Also, it's great that they're already going to have like pro qualifier 25, like immediately they're pro qualifiers. Like you have like just the beginning of bodybuilding, and maybe bikinis always felt a little too daunting nowadays. But you train and you fit and everything, you could easily like win a show, go to nationals, get your pro card, and be one of the first people as a pro in this fit model category. And you could be a part of establishing the standard of what that whole category is. Like, it's really, really cool. There's a lot of opportunity.
Yes, there is. And I think that's probably what I'm more excited about, especially looking at it from a coach's view, is it creates a level of comfortability around the sport because it is, and for the fit model division, it's going to cause a rift on both sides of the fence. Everybody's going to have their own opinion on this. Some people are going to love it. Some people are going to think that it's watering down the sport. And at the end of the day, it's here. So it is what it is.
We're
Like,
doing it. What are they going to do? Not
yeah,
do it?
right. So whether you like it or not, like this is something that's going to be a staple within this
Yeah.
organization. And I like it because it creates like this level of comfortability around the sport. Because still to this day, bodybuilding for the masses is looked at it's such of like a redheaded
That's true.
stepchild
Yeah.
of the professional like sports industry. And to have something that now people can work really hard towards, but also create something that, of course, is like tangible, a beach type physique. It's attractive for a lot of people because it really comes down to how much the sport is elevated. If you look back at the 2010s, 2011 Olympias, like you're looking at some people that are in the best shape possible that you would see on a beach and you're like, oh my gosh, that person's in incredible shape. Not, oh my gosh, that person's not human.
Yeah.
Which is what kind of every division has moved into. I mean, you look at men's physique whenever you had Sadiq and Steve Cook and all of these people that were the first people within the men's physique division. Yeah, I mean, they looked incredible. Way less muscle mass, way less vascularity, just overall something that looked more attainable for the regular person. And it seems like as these divisions have continued to elevate and gotten bigger and better, and the athletes have gotten just more genetically crazy, now they're creating something that are moving more back to the roots and something that people can say, oh my gosh, like this is something that I might be able to be really good at.
Yeah, absolutely. And like to that point, they're using the categories that what am I trying to say? The category requirements of like what the physique is supposed to look like, the standards, is Ashley Kaltwasser, who won Bikini Olympia in 2015. They're using her standard of her look as this is what the division should be. So it's showing like naturally every division is just going to evolve. It's as it gets fine tuned and you bring more and more athletes in, the best of the world begin to compete against one another. It's just going to it has to evolve. There's no other way. The standard has to change and to continue to grow. And so I'm not against it. Like I know there's a lot of people like you're saying that like it's watering down the division or it's taking away from the other division. It's like, not taking away from anything. It's not taking away from anything. It's opening up an opportunity for more people who don't align with those things. And so if anything, it's not taking away from those areas. You're going to have more specific people who fit the categories better in each specific category and allowing opportunity for these other people to be successful over here in this division that they actually won't win. Like same for wellness. Like wellness came about because the women were starting to feel like they wanted to continue to grow their legs and they wanted to continue to grow their glutes and everything, but there would be an imbalance from top to bottom that didn't fit within bikini. And so they open up a division that fits to people and what their love and drive is within bodybuilding. Bodybuilding is about celebrating your physique, the hard work that you have, the discipline that you have, and the tenacity, the grit, and what you're pouring into your physique and how you're going to fine tune it. And so allowing other divisions to have that space, I think, is a good thing. I don't think it's going to be a bad thing.
Yeah, and I don't think so at all. And I think that a lot of people should be a lot more excited because like this is something that you love. Bodybuilding for a lot of people is what they do. They wake up every single morning and they're excited to get after it in the gym, and they go to bed at night and they're wondering like already having their meals prepped. Like bodybuilding is what a lot of people live. So at the end of the day, if you have something that is creating more awareness around the sport that you love and that completely consumes your life, why is that ever going to be a bad thing?
Exactly. And it's going to allow more exposure for people that maybe felt like like bodybuilding was daunting, that now it's attainable for them to like start getting exposed to it. And with all the people who are in bodybuilding have such a deep love and passion for it, like you usually want to share that passion with people. And so if there's now an opportunity for people to also experience that in a way that's comfortable for them, but then now you get to showcase this amazing sport that you like loved so dearly, then it's going to be a good thing. Like you're getting more exposure for those people.
Yeah, and for anybody who doesn't like this fit model division, go ahead and strap in because this is the tip of the iceberg. It's not stopping here. Like they're starting with a fit model division for females, but that is opening up the door for them to create new criteria for a fit physique division moving on down the road. Go ahead and quote me here on record. There will be a male division that is going to be very similar to the fit model division as well. But again, it's opening up doors for people to fall in love with bodybuilding, and that's always going to be a positive thing.
Yeah. And then it makes sense. I mean, I love all the initiatives that they're doing because they also are opening up all the natural shows even more too. So they're opening up even more it's like cross NPC where there are going to be more and more tested natural shows. So that if there are people who feel like they don't want to go down a role with enhancement, but they also want to just be in shows that are against other people who also feel that way too, they get their opportunity to be showcased as well. So there's a lot of things changing in the bodybuilding world that's just like bringing more people in. I'm excited.
I am very excited. And of course, like you have to think about from a coach's standpoint, that's just more people that we get to push towards doing something really cool within their life. Like if we can put people on these stages, and by the way, the judging criteria is very specific. So it's going to take a little bit for kind of us as coaches to be able to fit within this division. Cause it's not like a bikini, like, oh, let's get shredded. Let's make sure your tie-ins are absolutely carved out. Like they don't want to see visible tie-ins. They don't want any kind of separation of your legs. We don't want big bulging shoulders. It's a very specific division. So being able to recognize the athletes who fit this and then who might fit into maybe even potentially doing bikini as their first thing, like it makes a lot of sense for us to evolve as the sport is evolving.
Yeah, no, 100%. And like, just like bikini took years for them to finally kind of figure out like, oh, okay, now we see where we're taking this. And so it's going to be the same thing. Like this isn't going to be like this year in 2025. Like they set this new division and it's set and it's figured out. Like it's just it's not how it's going to be. It's going to evolve and take time. And it'll probably take two until they have all their pros. And then I think they're going to be at the Olympia 2026, the fit model. So if you turn pro, and then they're going to have pro shows probably 2026. And then I'm pretty sure they're going to be in the Olympia, if I heard Tyler's thing right.
I think you're right.
But then there'll be that'll be your first real standard because you're going to have pros across that whole division that you can look to. And right now you're looking at like a past version of Ashley Kaltwasser as the criteria, which isn't a bad thing, but it'll be really interesting. I'm interested in seeing like how the posing is going to evolve because obviously they want certain posing that was back in 2015. It's different from the bikini pose. And like 2015, I did my first show. I was 20. It was 2020 or 2013. So I did my first show, and that was the posing style like of Ashley Kaltwasser that Tyler showed, where it's like the drop hip and everything like that. So I'm really curious to see how that posing evolves, and then naturally what ends up happening is like all of our posing and things kind of influence all the categories. So like when wellness came about and wellness kind of has like a very like dramatic flow, that just naturally has impacted bikini on a smaller scale. So I'll be curious to see kind of like what the fit model division's posing does to our other categories and kind of like how how it makes its influence.
Yeah, because they're gonna have to come out with criteria around that too. Like, we know how they should look, but how should you present your package? I think is gonna be a big thing, and also opens up massive doors for you, a bikini competitor who's also a posing coach. And now at the same time, you have a whole new division that's going to be relatively kind of similar. That now you can start to teach people how to look the best in that
Yeah.
division on stage.
I think it'll be fun. And because again, like I was kind of saying before, is this as much as they've set a standard, this first wave of athletes really gets to like decide the like direction, because at the end of the day, no matter what category you're in, the judges can only judge what's on stage. And so you're also going to have a little bit of power in how this is judged and like what you want to showcase and how you want it to look. So there's a lot of opportunity in this, which I'm really looking forward to it. It's gonna be cool.
Time will tell, I guess. At this point, we will see.
People are gonna hate it or they're gonna love it.
This was a good one.
Aaron, I feel like we hit on a couple of good things. Hopefully you guys got to know us and Team Reform a bit more.
I hope so. But we are going to close these podcasts out very specifically every single episode, because we're going to try to get these out at least once a week. And we are recording on Wednesdays. So our week is from Wednesday to Wednesday. And we want to know, or we want you guys to get to know us a little bit. So we're going to end on what is the peak and what is our valley over the past 7 days.
Am I going first?
After you were 100% going first.
Okay. So great. My peak this week, Wednesday to Wednesday, I would say I have a new meal plan, which is like a nice little breath of fresh air. I have a new training split also for breath of fresh air. And I'm pretty settled into my new apartment now. So I just feel like the peak is having these ducks in a row and just ready to kind of like get after the goals that I have. Valley, I would say I kind of found myself with a little bit of negative self-talk this week. And sometimes you kind of have to go through those lows and just kind of convince yourself that like the good days are you have to look for them, but if you're having a bad day, good days always follow. Then you just have to look for it. The lows don't last forever. But I definitely had to catch myself in a lot of negative self-talk and just wanting to be doing things better, differently, or more consistently with all these changes of moving and all that kind of stuff. So that was probably the valley, but we're out of it now.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have higher highs without lower lows, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Okay.
life is a whirlwind.
For real. Okay, your peak?
So peak for me was definitely being able to go to Dallas this past weekend for nationals and just being able to feed off of that environment, because the shows are very similar to a degree, to where you see a lot of the same coaches. Sometimes you see a lot of the same competitors going to try and doing these things, but the environment and just kind of everything that surrounds these shows is so impactful. And being able to get to these levels of pro cards and just achieving something that is pretty incredible within the sport, like, it's very cool to just be around that environment, to see how these shows continue to elevate the standard of who is stepping on that stage. But I think the biggest peak was being able to go and support, our uniform team and Taylor for sure. So, Taylor, and I know we mentioned a little bit, but she has worked so tirelessly hard. She stepped off of stage at nationals last December, and since that day, like 365 days is the only thing that's been on her mind, is making sure that she can elevate herself as a competitor, elevate herself as an athlete. Every bit of sweat and determination and grit has gone into this past year. I haven't seen her waver a single time. Like, she has showed up and showed out every single day, and she's kept driving towards that goal. And to be rewarded at the highest level, I think, is the coolest thing to be able to see, because not only did she get her pro card, but she went and she won her entire class. And at a national stage, at Nationals NPC, which is one of the biggest national shows in the world, and it always is every single year, it's a massive accomplishment. So being able to see her like live her true dream, I think was like the biggest peak that I could have had maybe for the month.
Yeah, absolutely. God, it's so impressive. Yeah, seeing how she operated from the day she stepped off stage, extremely impressive.
It's been super, super cool. But Now for the valley, it's now I am somebody who I usually can kind of keep my emotions in check for the at least for the immediate. I'm not someone who gets extremely anxious all the time. Like there's various particular situations around that, but it always comes down to um if I feel like I am either letting clients down or if I'm not providing the same amount of value, and it is a very big kind of issue for me to take time for myself. And I've been sending team updates out to everybody else by the end of the year and not be able to pour from an empty cup, and you have to recharge your battery sometimes. And as I continue to say that, I look back and thought I have not taken a single day off this year. Like from holidays, birthdays, being sick, weekends, I've worked every single day.
You know what I was thinking when you were doing your 2025 goals? I was gonna ask, like, are you gonna take some time for yourself? And it's a little that, and I was like, maybe I won't.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing. So it's like, and even Lindsay will, my wife, whoever doesn't know, but she's like, you need to, like, you can't give people 100% if you're only operating at a 50% capacity. So, but at the same time, it's like, I know that I need time to do that kind of stuff, but I feel that even during the week of Christmas, where all clients are going to be traveling anyway, they're going to want to relax a little bit. I've felt so like disconnected from saying like, I need to continue to work. I have to send check-ins. So being able to take a step back and to say, you know what, I probably need some time to fill my own cup back up. So the valley was disconnecting myself from that. Like you have to grind, you have to continue to give. So luckily we're going to not do check-ins the week of Christmas, and I'm going to try to recharge my batteries. But getting over that hump, I think was, it's always one of the hardest things that I have to do.
Yeah, I think too, because this is such a passion for us. Like we love this, and so 99% of the time it doesn't feel like work. It is something that we just like naturally are excited about doing. And but at the end of the day, your workload, and as you continue to challenge yourself and take on a lot more, yeah, it's going to be taxing across the board. So I think you're on the right track.
I appreciate it.
Lindsay.
Yeah, I know. And everybody that says like, if you're getting into entrepreneurship, you're going to leave a 9 to 5 to work 24/7. Like you hear it, then you're like, oh, okay, like I'll make my own hours. Yeah, your own hours are based around the moments that you're awake.
Yeah. Or when you have like they talk about like mom guilt.
Yes, I sure do.
It's like entrepreneur guilt.
Mm-hmm.
You always feel like there's something more you could be doing, or like you could be doing like XYZ better. How can I improve this, or how can I improve that? So there's definitely a level of it isn't actually guilt, but it is something that weighs on your mind a lot. So I'm glad that you're going to take some time around the holidays to actually decompress. And
yeah, well, that's going to be a time where like, I'm going to get my taxes in order, and like, I'm going to have to do all the back end stuff of the business. But we're going to take some time to, I don't know, maybe fire up an Xbox for the first time.
Yeah, do something that is just like, you need like a couch rot, like do a couch rot, like 2 hours.
A couch rot?
Yeah, just rot on the couch, doom scroll for a little bit.
Yeah, DoorDash chicken and rice and broccoli.
You're fine. Just check out for like a hot second, and then that'll probably be all you need. You probably need just like a solid 2 hours.
It sounds incredible. So good.
All right.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Like, this was honestly a longer first episode than I was even anticipating.
I didn't think it would go as long.
I'm so excited to be able to continue to pour out everything that, kind of we want to get off our chest, and then to continue to provide knowledge and impact to the masses. So, guys, thank you all for tuning into Reformed Podcast, and this is going to be the first of many.
Yeah, can't wait. See you guys.
Bye.